I ended up picking up this 2000 GMC Sierra.
We get it almost every night, and that moon gets big and bright. We get it almost every night, and that moon gets big and bright. We get it almost every night, and that moon gets big and bright. We get it almost every night, and that moon gets big and bright. We get it. We get it almost every night, and that moon gets big and bright. We get it almost every night, and that moon gets big and bright. We get it almost every night, and that moon gets big and bright. We get it almost every night, and that moon gets big and bright. We get it almost every we get it. We get it almost every night, and that moon gets big and bright. We get it almost every night, and that moon gets big and bright. We get it almost every night, and that moon gets big and bright. We get it almost every night, and that moon gets big and bright. We get it almost and that moon gets big and bright. We get it and that moon gets big and bright. We get it almost every night, and that moon gets big and bright. We get it almost every night, and that moon gets big and bright. We get it.
Yep, all good things come to an end. It's time for a change. So this is going to be the last time we cruise this truck supercharged. We're going to take it over to my pop shop and start ripping it apart. So let's get in the truck. Alright, I'm sure you're probably thinking one of a few things. One, why are you pulling the truck apart? Before I even bought the truck, I wanted it to be like a sloppy style turbo. It's not going to be quite a sloppy style turbo, but same kind of concept. Two, why haven't I fixed the headliner? I've got a new headliner for it, I just haven't torn the truck apart yet, so we're gonna be doing that soon. And 3, I don't know what else you're thinking. Sounds good though. So let's get going. So if you follow the channel, you know that one of the last times I had the truck out, it threw the drive shaft out. So I'm kind of like a little nervous about that. So like I was saying, before I even bought the truck, I wanted to go turbo on it. And I only went supercharger because I found a deal on it for what I thought was pretty cheap. And I know that there's some people that are gonna be bummed to see the supercharger go just because they like the change, and pretty much everything of mine will be turbo LS at this point. Because like the RX-7's turbo 5.3, this will be turbo 5.3, the S10's gonna be turbo 6 liter, but I like turbos. And the supercharger takes horsepower to make power. This Vortec, and it is a Vortec, it's not a ProCharger. I know that there's a lot of people out there that for whatever reason they think that all centrifugal superchargers are ProChargers. That's not the case. A ProCharger is a centrifugal supercharger. A Vortec is a centrifugal supercharger. So not all centrifugal superchargers are ProChargers. It's like a square and a rectangle thing. All squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares. Anyway, this is, I think on the website it said it's like 78% efficient, but a good way to process that is for every 100 horsepower grossed, it costs you 22 horsepower. So you're only actually netting 78 horsepower. That's not an exact science, but it's a good way to think about it. So as far as like a daily driver, the supercharger's great. Like it's fun, but trying to be competitive with people that are running like 20 pounds of boost, it's not gonna happen. It's at least not gonna happen for me in the way I'm doing things. It's so much easier to just cut my losses and switch to turbo. I think we're all clear. Let's see if we can break anything. I mean, just consider the fact that this engine has 242,000 miles, and by all accounts, it's the original engine to the truck. And for the past 3 years almost that I've had the truck, it's pretty much lived at the rev limiter. And I haven't blown it up or hurt it really, aside from the one time that the rocker came off. This truck has done so good. This truck owes me nothing. All right. Last turn with the supercharged truck. I think I might see if I can get Pops to film us doing one more good burnout in it before we send it off.
All right, he's gonna make one last run.
It freaked me out. Yeah. I saw the car coming and I thought it was a cop.
Oh.
I still wasn't sure that it wasn't until just now.
I was starting to wonder myself.
The light on top, man. That was a lot of fun. It was a good send-off for the truck, but we got to start getting to work. And I think we're going to start up here One, because we're going to take the entire exhaust system off too, and it'll be a lot easier to get to these header bolts once the supercharger's out of the way. And it's actually just the right temperature to warm my cold ass hands up. So we got to obviously pull the belt and everything off, disconnect the intercooler piping from there, and then we'll unbolt the supercharger, get that up out of there, and then we got to disconnect the power steering lines and pull the power steering pump and everything off with the bracket. And then we'll get that pulley pressed off, good to go there, and we'll start working on the exhaust system. They just grow up so fast. Now if we just follow where I dribbled everywhere, we will see everything supercharger related and an alternator. But I just have to pull this pulley off with the pulley puller, and then once we pull that pulley off with the pulley puller, I can take this power steering pump off, and that is all ready to go. And then I've got another stock bracket that I'll put back on the truck. But that really wasn't too bad. That was dicking around a little bit. That was probably like 45 minutes. Let me see what time it is. An hour, let's say. Definitely some things to clean up. Power steering fluid, gunk on the block. Looks like this steam port has a small leak. Actually, that could be where I was leaking from the time that this wasn't hooked up, but it'll all get cleaned up eventually because I'm going to replace intake. So while I'm in there, I'm going to try and clean as much as I can. But yeah, the only thing left to do up here is unbolt the headers, but I want to leave those bolted up for taking the exhaust system off. That way it's easier to I didn't mean to do that. That way it's easier to give them a good firm tugging to get them off, and then I'll come back up here and pull the headers out. Left to do is just pull these headers out. Alright, the deed is done. The truck is all apart. A little bittersweet, but time to move on.
My parts, you were fun while it lasted.
So it's going to be a little bit before we get back to work on the truck. I still have to get all the turbo manifolds and exhaust and everything for that. But we will get there. This truck will, by spring, I'm going to call it, by spring, we'll be back up and running. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing. We'll see you next time.